My name is Rona, and I grew up in Tel Aviv. When I was 20, I moved to Milan, and I graduated there with a master in industrial design from the Scuola politecnica di design. I'm working as a product designer, but I also do creative direction, research. I teach and write about design. I gained my professional experience in Milan and in London. And then I started my design practice in London. And after 13 years, I moved back to Tel Aviv. And that's where I'm based now.
Why design? Why industrial design? And why not horse riding? Why not teaching? Engineering? Why not, why?
Why not? That's a good question. Actually, it's a very good question. I think mainly as, at least personally for me, that I passed I feel I passed half life. I always question that. But I think a person that chooses to do design is really doing it not from really mainly from the gut feeling. I personally didn't know what I want. I didn't think really what I want to do. I just liked to disassemble things as a kid and assemble things. And I was like the mechanical and the engineer at home every time we moved house. So I used to do all the handyman works and all these stuff. So I really like that. And Israel at the time, I grew up here, had nothing really, no design shops or any culture of design, and hardly design schools. So I simply, when I was about 16, I found a book and I read about architecture, really simple as that. And and then I kind of started to read more things, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll go and be an architect. But then I went into this shop that was underneath our house, and me and my mom just did some window shoppings there. It was the only shop in Tel Aviv, the only design shop, and I was like just captured by all the objects that they had there. And I asked the shop owner, who is doing your designs? And she said, well, it's our secret. And obviously it was all imported. Now I know it was all imported from Indonesia, stuff like that, and Italy, and like everywhere. And so one of the days I just went in, took one plate, turned it the other side, so made it and said, okay, so that's where I'm going. And that was my idea. And everything was really simple.
Wow. Well, you say simple. I actually think that's really brave, and equally, that's an engineer talking, actually, let's turn it over and look, and that's where I'm going. That's an engineer.
Yeah, it could have been the wrong plate, it could have been at the time, I could have found, I don't know, made in Romania or something.
China, So, who knows? Who
knows?
It's
naivety.
So tell me about your family. Who do you live with?
I live with Avner, my husband. He's an architect. Okay. And we have two kids, Ido, which is 17 and a half, and Alma, which is 11. And we have a dog. That's the dog. He's like...
I mean, see.
Can you see?
And your kids, do they... Obviously, you've got your husband with architecture, you've got your design brain. What are your kids kind of thinking about doing in their lives?
Okay, so our son is now doing his A levels or exams. So he's really focused in that. And he was born in the UK, and he's really aiming, since we moved back from London to Tel Aviv, he wants to go back. So he'll probably end up in the UK very soon, in London. And our daughter, she's a gymnast. She's doing rhythmic gymnastics, so she's competing. So that's her goal in life. She wants to become, obviously, she's planning on the next Olympiad, and that's her plans.
That's really cool. I always wonder around like the influence of parents and their children, and kind of where do you get that, and what do they take from you? So yeah, that's really interesting. Tell me about what you do.
What I do? So nowadays or generally?
tell us about KUKA and what you do with KUKA.
KUKA. All right. So KUKA is actually it's a name that came up from a personal family story. So I invented this name, and I gave it to my design brand that I had from 2010 to 2017, where we started to design and developed and produce products of affordable and sustainable character so we did furniture and lighting and accessories and all sorts of products that we sold through retailers worldwide. And eventually, I've decided to focus more on bespoke made design for clients. So our clients are nowadays more hotels, restaurants, offices, and we do also installations. That's also involving my creative direction work.
So this takes us to really why we're talking now. So just for those of you that are watching, I had the pleasure of meeting KUKA and Rona because FINSA UK had agreed to be a material sponsor and a small cash sponsor to your piece of work with the London Biennale. Talk to us about that.
Yes, this is a very exciting project. I'm super excited about this project because it's that's a side project that I've started about 4 years ago. I really started it from an article, this project platform, when I was a journalist, design journalist, and it was never published. The idea was when I moved to Israel, I wanted to kind of connect people from the region and really didn't understand the situation, the political situation, and I kind of ignored it. So I didn't really see any reason why we cannot really work together if there are good blacksmiths in Lebanon or obviously in the West Bank or elsewhere. So it started really small, but then about 4 years ago, I met Suzanne Chokmeh, and she joined me on this exciting venture, and we did a lot of talks around with designers from different countries, from Iran, Dubai, Lebanon, Israel. And the idea is really to communicate design as a common language in the Middle East, and to strengthen collaboration and cultural development and the diversity in the MENA region. So this project with London Design Festival is actually the first project we got to do, because until today we did a lot of talks and online work. So it has a background, this project, and this time we're going to have 7 designers. It's going to happen in the Somerset House. The designers are coming from Iran, Jordan, Dubai, Sharjah, and Lebanon and Israel. And we are going to work obviously remotely online. We're going to start our project, which is named Stream of Consciousness, which I love this name. Suzanne brought up this name. I think it's a great name. And so we're going to start our project already with this collaboration, having coexistence and tolerance as our main idea to work. And eventually we'll have, with FINSA's materials, we'll have a physical project for the first time. So that's it's the first time, so I'm excited about that.
I think we get proposals all the time for projects. We get involved in some amazing things, and when you approached us to say, would you like to get involved, I think Rafa had met you at an event in London, and he said, I want to work with them. The idea you're bringing together all of these people across the Middle East to create this one thing, and then not even to put it there, but to drop it over here and and in London, I just think it's phenomenal. What drove you to do this? Because you didn't have to do this, and it's a lot of hard work. So what's driven you to do this?
It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of also you have to be very sensible sensitive because, I mean, coming from here, I understand why some people from different countries will say, oh, well, we cannot be involved with an Israeli. Obviously, they put the political side. I can understand that. And but I think because I'm coming from a very cosmopolitan world, and also I was educated like that. I don't see any differences in no matter where you are coming from or religion or whatever. I really see through the person what they do, what we all do and can create. And I think the Middle East, moving here was extremely difficult for me, also because of the bad branding. Living in Israel has also quite bad branding. So I try to do something positive with it. And I see so much potential from people coming from me, because I worked with a lot of people from the region in Europe, but I couldn't work with them here. So I wanted to bring it up and to show how we actually so similar in our approach. We have so many similarities in the way we work. So I really hope that we could collaborate. I mean,
oh my God, it's just decided to do something weird. Just bear with me.
Sure.
There you go. You've come back. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Sorry. So if you can take it from you were hoping to collaborate, and I can edit that bit.
Okay, so yeah, the idea is really to collaborate together with people that have similar, how can I say, similar approach towards design, similar mentality, and still, unfortunately, because of political constraints, we cannot meet. We don't even know each other. Culturally, we are very similar. Just like Europeans can be very similar in some ways and manners, and people from the Middle East are very similar too. So I'm kind of, it was because I worked with people from the Middle East, but not from the Middle East. When I was in Europe, I couldn't really understand and accept really the idea of not being able to produce some glass pieces or whatever close by, because in Israel you hardly have industry for that. You have high tech. So why can't I go to, I don't know, to Saudi Arabia or to Lebanon or anywhere else? Why cannot do that? It's really like 2 hours away by car.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't really make sense. How did you recruit your team?
That's difficult. I always kind of try to live, because I'm half British, half Israeli, and I don't really put any flags on. I think, and because Kuka is a UK brand, and my team that worked with me in the office, they were English and Scottish, so it was quite easy to approach. I didn't really, came up saying, "Oh, that's my big plan and let's change it." No, it was really gradually. I think they were really interested in the project of bringing their work together, and in Europe where we can do that. At the end, people are interested really to see and get to know each other. So there's nothing political about it. It's really simple. It's really like, okay, let's do that, and yeah, great idea, and that's it, because I think
it's just human.
It's just human. And that's why the name is also Designers in the Middle and not Designers in the Middle East, because the East words can bringing bad brand, and we never discuss politics. We never, and we all know we wouldn't be able to sit together like we said. I think 2 years ago at the V&A, at the Global Design Forum. Was me, Lebanese designer, and a Druze designer. We would never be able to sit together and talk and feel so close. But we don't have to raise it up as well. So it was very special.